A few other subjects before we get on to that. Arsenal, very good night in Europe. They probably should have scored 3 or 4 more goals. Do you think they'll carry that over this weekend, Don, into the Premier League when they play Everton tomorrow?
In all honesty, I haven't really watched much of Everton this season, man. But it looks like they're struggling again. You know what I mean? Sean Dyche, we know how he is in terms of how he sets up his team. But I reckon Arsenal are going to deal with them, man. Everton haven't looked great. The games that I've caught here and there, they haven't looked great, in all honesty, man. I look at their team. They've got what's that guy that they just bought? The winger, the black guy, the mixed race guy. I think he's mixed race. I forgot his name. I think he came from France. He looks quite good, to be fair. But Arsenal are playing at home. They tend to deal with Everton, so I reckon they'll beat them.
It should be a comfortable one.
Yeah, he looks like a baller. He looks like a baller. Him. But away from him, there's no one else I'm really looking at.
Yeah, they better whoop Everton. Go ahead, Lellis. You speak.
No, I was gonna say McNeil's been decent for them this season. He's been someone that I think could be a threat for sure. So out of them, like you say, yeah, and then it depends if Calvert-Lewin's available and what Calvert-Lewin turns up. They're just one of them teams, you know what I mean? Whether Dyche could shithouse a result against Arsenal will remain to be seen. Arsenal do struggle to break teams down at times. They have got the set piece secret weapon. It'll be interesting to see how they utilize that against Dyche. Everton used to be really susceptible to set pieces a few seasons ago, so I'm not sure how much they've been able to fix that, and Dyche has been able to get them much better on set pieces, being the type of manager he is. So I think it could be one of them ones where it will take a while for Arsenal to break them down, but eventually, it will be too much for Everton. I don't see Everton scoring in this game, to be honest with you. It will be one of them ones.
What I will say about them, Lawless, is if there's anyone to deal with any sort of set pieces, it probably is Everton.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying.
They're tall and they can score them themselves.
Do you think they might try what Monaco did and keep 3 players out the box? Because that seemed to kind of throw Arsenal a little bit. I mean, Arsenal dominated that game, but it was interesting watching that technique. They just kept 3 players up near the halfway line, and Arsenal had less players in the box. And I suppose there's less players in the box, less confusion, maybe.
I don't see it, man. I don't see it. I think they're just gonna go with their physicality, their height, and just look to defend them that way, man. That's the main thing you need against Arsenal, bro. United struggled because you haven't really got height in the box. You don't really have players that like to attack the ball. Whereas Everton, they're different. You know what I'm saying? So, like I said, I haven't really watched much of them this year, but I think Arsenal will get business done this week, man.
I think it's going to be an ugly game, but I think Arsenal will win it. Everton are just poor, man. They're very poor. I mean, we just played them 2 weeks ago. They just have no quality in that team. McNeil, don't get me wrong, McNeil is good. They have a couple individuals that maybe they would be better on other teams. Collectively as a team, they're just very poor. And Arsenal are at home. I don't know their record with Everton. I just don't remember recently struggling with Everton. I could be wrong, but I just don't remember them being a team that really troubles Arsenal like that. Maybe like 4 years ago when they beat them in their home ground, but other than that, I mean, Arsenal recruited well to match up with teams like this. Even when games get physical, as you said, they have the height, they have all that stuff. So it might not be necessarily most entertaining game, but I think they'll win. I mean, people were saying, "Oh, what happened with the set piece last game?" Well, you didn't win last game, did you? And I sat here last Friday and I said, "Go ahead and win with set pieces, and you deserve the 3 points against us." I was like, but when it doesn't work and you drop points, don't be surprised when people cook you. And you dropped 2 points last game. Obviously not in the Champions League, it was in the league. I forgot who they played. Fulham. There you go. They dropped points to Fulham.
Their last 10 meetings is a mix, I can't lie, it's a mix. Arsenal have battered them a couple of times, but Everton have got a few wins in their last 10. Like Arsenal beat them twice, 2-1.
How many in the last 2 to 3 seasons? That's what's most important to me, because that's the better version of Arsenal we've seen.
Yeah.
Because I remember them beating them.
Season before last, they beat them 4-0 at the Emirates. And then last season, they beat them 3-1 at the Emirates.
Yeah, so they cooked them the last 2 times.
Everton have got a chance. This is going to be one of those games. If it remains 0-0, they've got a chance. If Arsenal score early, 10, 15 minutes, it's going to end up being like the United game. It'll be 4 or 5.
The issue with Arsenal right now, though, Terry, I mean, you look at the Champions League game, the amount of chances they missed. especially Gabriel Jesus. Gabriel Jesus. I don't understand how this guy's still in the Premier League. He has all the tech in the world. This guy missed 2 sitters against Monaco. And I'll be very honest with you. If you want to win a Champions League, if you want to win a league, you need your striker to finish these chances. These guys go from Havertz to Jesus, from Jesus to Havertz, and both of them are just not good enough. These chances that he missed, I just couldn't believe it. Like, he needs to go back to the Brazilian league. That's probably his level. Because I every time I watch him, and they mention he's on a goal drought. I don't even remember the last time he scored. And they mention his goal drought, and it's because of things.
I'm seeing he's scored 2 goals this year, bro.
It's
2 goals in
embarrassing.
2024.
That's embarrassing.
Do you know what? You got to credit Arsenal fans though as a collective, because at least they call it out. There are other clubs that are up near the top who have players that don't score for 12 months, and they just say it's okay because there's other good parts of his game, and there are good parts of Gabriel Jesus'. That there are good parts of Gabriel Jesus' game. He helped set up the first goal. I can't understand how you can play that pass with your left foot so brilliantly, but not finish those chances. It confuses me. But you are right.
He said it himself there. He said scoring goals is not his best attribute, and I'm not surprised. Yeah. I just watch it.
Yeah, but you're right. They need to move on. I think Arsenal fans have come to that. I feel like Arsenal fans have argued over the wrong things. You can rely on set piece goals when you're this good, but you can also add another bagsman, another gunman, another scorer to your front line. You can do both. I mean, maybe he's good at headers as well and can score some goals in the corners. But I think this January, I look at Arsenal, they've actually been better in the Champions League than they have in the league. That's why they're sitting third. I think if they could go out and grab a Gyökeres or it doesn't matter who. So audience, please don't. He's not available. We won't get him. I'm giving examples of profiles here. They went and got a Gyökeres. They went and got an Isak. They went and got a Victor Osimhen, someone who is more deadly. I don't know about the league. They could win the Champions League. They could. With a better goal scorer, they could do it. They could do it.
I remember we did the straight facts before the season started in the transfer window. We talked about a striker. I remember Staffy was, and if this was what a few Arsenal fans were saying, like, they don't necessarily need to focus on a striker because they got goals by committee last season.
So they need a left wing.
And that's why I said, but you need that clutch guy. Do you know what I mean? In the moments that is good, like what they had with Aubameyang, is maybe they don't do much else, but they'll get you that goal when all else fails. And
they've got
Saka. They need a left wing still more than they need a striker.
Yeah, I agree. So I left
wing is horrible.
Yeah.
Martinelli is the worst one in that front line, and you cannot convince me that their left wing is not the worst. Because as much as I don't rate Jesus and I don't rate Havertz still chips in with goals here and there, and I don't even like him like that. Martinelli generally doesn't do anything. If Martinelli was not on the pitch against Fulham and it was someone else with just like a little bit more IQ, he wouldn't be offside and that goal would have stood and they would have won the game. The fact that you have all that pace and you're still caught offside just shows me how unintelligent he is. The guy, and not to mention that what he offers this team is just so limited. Like, I've never seen someone, all he does is just put his head down and run. He's so horrible. It's shocking how much he's regressed since he came up the ranks with Saka and Emil Smith Rowe and them, because he's the worst out of the three. They sold Emil Smith Rowe and they probably could have kept him over Martinelli. The only thing is he just wasn't healthy. Their left wing is actually shocking.
It's shocking, bro. Shocking, man. And even when we had that conversation, Terry, was it last season or season before, right? And I said about, I think Mudryk's got more to his game than Martinelli. The thing I spoke about, right, was Martinelli's, how limited he is, bro. Yeah, he picks up the ball and he just puts his head down. I've never seen a winger not be able to cross the ball consistently. His crossing is so bad. I was even surprised that he managed to find Saka in the box, because usually it goes far from Saka or he does nothing with it, right? He's got no flair in his game. His passing range is dead. His finishing is dead. All they do is just go back to that one season. And I remember after that one season when they competed, I said, bro, there's no guarantee that Saka and Martinelli will carry on doing what they did last season. Saka puts up numbers, cool, fair enough. He's consistently carried on doing that. But Martinelli, bro, it might have just been a one season thing. You know, I'm not seeing any development in this guy's game. You know what I'm saying? And for me, like I said to you before, Terry, it's very clear to me why Arteta was looking to sign Mudryk. Because people can mock Mudryk as much as they want. But when you look at their raw attributes, Mudryk has more to his game. You know what I'm saying? Mudryk can actually cross the ball. Yeah, Mudryk can actually create chances. He creates for us. Right, he's faster than him, right? It's all about just putting him together. And this season, we're seeing improvement in his game. And when you see Mudryk start to improve even more, you see that he was better than Martinelli.
I think that. I mean, he might improve, but they're very similar.
You know
I was looking at their stats earlier on today per 90 minutes. Martinelli 0.4 goals. Mudryk none.
I don't think they are similar. I'm
going to give them to you now. You're lagging a bit. I'm going to give them to you now. Chances created per 90 minutes, 1.3 in the Premier League. This is 1.3 per 90 minutes for Martinelli, 1.3 per 90 minutes for Mudryk. Passing accuracy, 76% for Martinelli. 77%. Bruv. 77% for Mudryk, 76% for Martinelli. Crossing accuracy, 21% accuracy for Martinelli, 14% accuracy for Mudryk. That's this season. We look at last season.
Barely played, bro. Why are you trying to compare what they're doing in the Prem when Mudryk's barely played, bro? He's been coming off the bench getting Mickey Mouse minutes in the Prem, bro. He's mainly played Conference League. He's barely played in the Prem. I don't think he's
compare. But you can't compare the stats of Martinelli in the Premier League versus the level you're playing against in the Conference League. That's disingenuous.
No, but even last season, I told you Mudryk had a decent season last year, bro. But the problem that was happening was you'd have a good game and then he gets dropped for Sterling, bro. Right? We will see improvements from last year with Mudryk.
Bruv, but I've just put his Conference League stats up and he's crossing still at 14%. His passing accuracy is still at 77% in the Conference League, Mudryk.
Bro, you need to. So why was it last season then when Palmer was creating our chances? You know how creative he was, right? The person that was creating the second most chances behind Palmer last season for us was Mudryk, bro. Right? And when you actually watch our games, I'm not saying he hasn't created chances. I just think they're both average players. I just don't think they're. I'm not saying you're wrong about Martinelli, but I don't think Mudryk is his player where there is clear blue water. They're both.
Mudryk has a better skill set to develop there. I think that's what I think he does have a better skill set to develop,
and that's fine. It's fine to have a better skill set, but he ain't applying it.
Exactly.
It's a micro penis competition, in my opinion.
For me, like I've said, what I'm going to say about this, right, is in a few years or in a few seasons or whatever, you're going to go back to the conversation and say, do you know what? Fair enough. You know what I mean? There's more they can get out of this guy. And like I've been telling you, Terry, for years now, if this guy went to Arsenal, he'd be a lot better than what you're seeing right now, because he would have been coached by Arteta in a better team and a better structure. This is the first time he's actually had a proper coach, bro. And he's improving, like I've said. You know what I mean? Just the other week, those Chelsea fans debating starting him against Liverpool, I think it was, right? So, boy, Martinelli, for me, he just reminds me of the Rashfords, these limited wingers. You know what I mean? With barely any tech. You know what I'm saying?
Fair enough. I mean, I don't think he's good enough for your club. I would, if I was a Chelsea fan, I'd rather start George on the right left than Mudryk, to be fair. I think Terry.
Yeah, Sancho's in my 11. Sancho's in my 11.
Sancho starts, but I'm saying if it ain't Sancho, I'd rather pick the youngster Terry George than.
Oh, come on. You're taking the piss. You're taking the piss now.
Oh, you think Mudryk's better than George?
This season, from what I've seen, he's been better than him, yeah.
I think there's a much higher ceiling.
I like Terry George.
I think the higher ceiling with George. I think he does the simple things better. I think there's a better player in there. You got to remember, Mudryk's nearly 24 years old. He ain't a baby.
Yeah, but go. Yeah, but you can't look at it like that because his experience isn't that of a 24-year-old, bro. Right? Before he came to Chelsea,
he's 24.
This guy got loaned out. He got loaned out twice in Ukraine, right? To a team called Arsenal in Ukraine. Yeah, he might have playing in the league. That's not even. I don't think they're even in the top 10. Do you know what I mean? So you can look at Saka, for example. Saka's not even 25, and he's got the experience of 30-year-olds. You know what I mean? You can't really look at the age. You got to look at their experience. Mudryk's experience before he came Chelsea was that of a 21-year-old, of a reserve player, in fact. His experience was shit before he came Chelsea.
He's getting the game time for you for one reason and one reason only, because he just isn't good enough.
Yeah, because there's better players ahead of him, and that's fair.
Yeah, he's not. Yeah, like I said, he's not good enough.
It's start, yeah. I don't think he's good enough to start. I think he's a good bench player. I think he's a good squad player.
I think Chelsea need to cash in on him and do better. He is not. There we go. That's my opinion. That's yours. There's a few more comments here. Mudryk got 5 goals and 2 assists all of last season in the Premier League. Martinelli already has 2 and 3 this season when he's playing badly. Martinelli has been poor, but stop with Mudryk.
Bro, Martinelli absolutely stunk last season. Yeah, go speak to many Chelsea fans. They'll tell you Mudryk will have a good game, then he gets dropped again for Sterling. That's what Poch kept doing.
He ain't getting picked this season either, is he? Rashford will cook on that. The thing is, you could cook Martinelli because you're right about how limited he is, but you're choosing the wrong hammer. You're choosing the wrong size hammer to hit the nail with, bruv.
I'm not, bro.
You were trying to tap a little nail into the wall to hang a picture. You're trying to use a sledgehammer, and you made a massive hole in the wall, and you've ruined it.
Bro, I haven't ruined it. I haven't ruined it. I'm telling you, Terry, I haven't ruined it, bro. I told you this from time, and it's so funny because so many people this season have been saying, "Yo, you're onto something about that Mudryk and Martinelli thing." You know, I swear down. Because they were calling me crazy before. Even now, some people will call me crazy
about Martinelli, but Mudryk is no better. It's just you shouldn't have gone with him.
I'm telling you, if Mudryk went to Arsenal, the guy would have been cooking and he would have been starting ahead of that fake Brazilian, bro. I'm showing you.
Maybe. Usherman is great. Gyökeres will be cup tied in the Champions League. I don't know if that it used to stop once you got into the knockout stages. So if for years it changed
it. It doesn't happen anymore.
Yeah. Knockout stages, there's no problem with that, my friend. So you'll be okay.